Yeah, so what you were saying, yeah, that's true, because look, outside skin is just a color, but if you look at our nature as a human being,
Yeah.
man and woman,
Yeah.
we have the universal laws that work throughout the whole world. One is we're attracted to the opposite sex, male and female. Secondly, we have weaknesses, which is greed, selfishness, you know,
Definitely greed,
envy,
envy, yes.
love.
Yeah.
We have all these things, and other things like this. So all this is universal around the world. So we should not distinguish or make a difference between one another based on their skin color or language. If you really if you remove those veils of ignorance, you will see that we have so much in common. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I have friends. I have Muslim friends. I have Sikh friends. I have Jewish friends. I have friends from here. I have friends who, one particular mate, Brian, we've been friends for 50 years.
Wow.
And,
From school?
No, we used to run the local motorcycle club here in the town.
Oh, wow. No.
Which is now gone. It died. One of those things that happens.
Yeah.
Internecine fight, disagreements within the group.
So sad.
And we turned around and said, well, there's the books, there's the bank bill. That's what you think. Run it. And it was dead within 4 days. Never restarted.
That's unfortunate. Again, one of the universal problems, greed and selfishness in the heart. Yeah. These days, laziness as well, quite a lot of it.
It's jealousy as well.
Jealousy. Oh, yes, that's the one. That's the main one, I think.
Horrible.
Jealousy kicks in and it's all over.
Yeah. I've got my other long-lasting friend is a woman, and come to that, her daughter. And I've known Joyce since she was 32. She's 92 now.
Wow. How old are you, by the way? I'm asking?
Me, I'm 85.
Wow, you look good for 85, I'll tell you now.
I'm 86 in May. 1939, I was born in May. The war started in October, and I deny all responsibility.
You must have seen a lot throughout them ages.
I have. I'm of them.
Did you want to sit down while we chat?
Okay.
Are you okay? You sure?
Okay.
If you do want to let me know, yeah, because I don't want to.
I was actually on my way home. I don't live too far away.
Do you want me, well, I was going to say I'm going to walk you down while we're chatting, but I don't want to like put you. Just if you're uncomfortable, please let me know, yeah? Because
I'm okay. I'm okay.
So let me ask you, Jeffrey. Look, this universe and everything in it, right? If I was to ask you, Jeffrey, look, you've seen a lot in this life, right?
No.
And you can probably give me some pearls of wisdom.
No, I doubt it.
No, I'm telling you, because if you can go back in time and tell yourself something, you would say, don't do this, don't do that, be like this, and blah 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 and so on. And we're at that stage now, so
I had a grandfather who was in the 1418 war.
1418.
And what?
Okay, 1914 to 18, yeah.
Yeah.
The first
World
war, yeah.
And he used to say always, one forgives but one never forgets.
It's a universal saying as well.
And I think that is universal. It should be universal. You should forgive, but you should never forget.
That's the wise words.
And I've tried that's practically the only wise thing I've thought of. He was the only adult I'd ever seen cry when I was a child. And he was badly shell-shocked, as they used to call it.
Yeah.
And PTSD, or whatever it's called now. And he used to sit and cry. And it was horrifying.
Because of all the things that you've seen. Right?
Yeah. He was apparently blown out of a shell hole that he was hiding in with 4 of his friends. Well, they were sheltering from them. Military attack was coming towards them. Some piece of ordnance landed in there with him. He had a piece of shrapnel in his back that stayed there for the rest of his life, but his 4 friends disappeared.
What, they left him?
They just disappeared. The explosion just blew them to pieces.
Oh, no. That was very hard.
That was the only thing he would ever talk about in the war.
Yeah, because like you said, you forgive but you never forget. I mean, that kind of thing is something that sticks with you. The pain. is deep.
But, he was you see, it's like a lot of things. I mean, as I say, I'm 85. Both my grandfathers died in their 60s. One was 63 and the other one was 67. That was where the old pension was set. Set at 65.
Right, yeah.
Because on average, the average white Englishman died at around the 60 mark.
That's right.
So, of course, the government didn't want to pay your pension out.
Of course, like now they've increased it, haven't they?
Oh,
Wow.
this bastard at the moment, he's not doing your group as Muslims, he's not doing them any good, and he's not doing us any good.
Yeah.
And he is partially what is forcing boundaries between you and I.
Which is so sad because really, if you want to have like people to get along, we should meet, we should talk, we should remove those boundaries, remove those veils of ignorance.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you'll see we're like brothers.
Yeah. I agree entirely.
We're brothers in humanity, and we have this. We have so much. I mean, the differences that they put up is like they flash it around like the main thing. This is the big difference, right? But really, you remove those things, we are so much alike.
Yes.
As human beings, it's unbelievable. And you know what? We can really get along, happy and peaceful. But unfortunately, a few individuals don't want this.
There is a poster at the moment about apparently in Birmingham town centre, a lot of other town centres, which is for it says believe in Allah.
Okay. Yes, the charity one.
The charity poster.
Yes.
And the amount of rubbish that is being put up by British people about how it should be torn down and it shouldn't be in England and all this business. And it's a poster for a bloody tithe. The English church used to call it a tithe. Whether you've met the word or not, I don't know. But it was exactly the same idea. If you had a certain amount of money and your business was in such a condition, you paid 3% to the church.
And now it's 5%.
Yeah. And this is...
Which is not a lot. And the thing is, like what you said, they had this idea before. And if it existed today, there wouldn't be any poverty.
No. On the damn side less, that's a certain.
Wouldn't be any poverty. And unfortunately, this is the case, but you know what?
It's like this other thing. There's been certain supposedly Islamicists attacking the war memorials, which is bloody ridiculous.
It's ridiculous,
if they are doing this, which I apologise for mentioning to you.
No, you don't apologise for anybody.
But if they are doing this, they have no idea of their own history.
Exactly.
Because of the military personnel that served in the Second World War and the First World War that came from the Indian states as it was then. It's their war memorial as much as ours.
It was Muslims as well that were in that war.
Yeah.
You know, I think
My one uncle in the Second World War, he joined at 14. You could join as a boy at 14 because of his family background as such. He was from a very big family, and he joined the army to take himself out of his family to help with the family food and everything else. They were a very poor family.
Yeah.
And they sent him straight to India at 14.
Wow, no way.
To the big, there's a big armory. I keep thinking of Amritsar, but it's not Amritsar, that's the Sikh temple.
Yeah.
But they sent him straight to the big armory where he learned to be an engineer.
Okay. In India, right?
Yeah, in India.
Wow.
He served in the Indian Army for quite some time.
Wow.
And then he ended up in the Second World War. But he always...
When was that? Sorry?
19, he joined up in 1933, I think it was, or something like that.
Okay, that's interesting. That's quite interesting.
But it was earlier than that, 1920. He would have been 30 something when he was in Italy. So he must have been 8 to 10 years younger than that when he first joined.
And that was in the British Army in India, right?
British Army in India, yeah.
That was one of the colonies, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Britain. Yeah.
It was known here as the jewel in the crown with the British Empire.
Literally.
Literally.
Because the jewel is from India, right?
As I say, India.
That's what they say anyway. I don't know.
India was known as the jewel in the crown.
Wow. I didn't know that, because I can only learn that kind of information from like people like yourself, because you know that history. You lived it, you see. Do you want some more tissue? Are you okay?
No, this one is in my pocket. Okay. Get it out of my pocket.
Are you sure you want to sit down for a few minutes? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'd better think about going home, right?
Oh yeah, of course. So definitely, do you mind if I just like have a conversation about like, look, do you know like our belief as a Muslim?
Yeah.
We believe that there's a creator that created this whole universe, right? And of course, you don't believe that because you're atheist, right?
Yeah.
And you believe that if there's a God, then why does evil happen?
Yeah.
Right? So, I'm going to ask you this question, my friend. We don't believe that this universe come out of nothing.
Yeah.
We believe that look, they on TV and everything on science they show there's a Big Bang, right?
Yeah.
You heard of that, right?
I do.
Okay. So, now, have you ever seen, and you've seen world wars, have you ever seen out of any explosion anything that you can make an use of? No,
It's a very strange thing. Is all of this. I am as, how can I put it, dubious about the scientific suggestions as I am about the base religious suggestion that of the Muslim religion and that of the Christian religion. They're very similar.
Yeah.
As far as I gather.
We believe in Jesus Christ as a Messiah.
And this is all.
Virgin Mary.
It's all very strange. The Virgin Mary thing.
Yes.
I've always joked about and said that's the very cleverest 14-year-old girl that's ever been to persuade her. Stop to getting stoned to death. Let's be fair, for having sex before marriage.
Well, you know what? Something that's quite interesting. What you say that, because nothing in the Bible tells you what saved them.
Yeah.
Because even something like this could not preventing them from stoning him, unless something happened, which was a miracle.
Yeah.
And they saw this and heard this with their very own eyes. We said, okay, there is something supernatural about this birth. Okay. Nothing in the Bible like this at all. Why they didn't stone him, but they should have, right?
Yep.
The Quran talks about something like this.
Yeah.
They said in the Quran, it's a similar story. It says, "O sister of Aaron, why have you committed such an atrocity when your father was a righteous man?"
Yeah.
So she didn't speak. She pointed to the baby. The Quran tells us that he, as a child, as a miracle, spoke.
Yeah.
And said, "I am Jesus, the son of Mary, a righteous servant of God." Yeah, and peace be on the day that I was born, and peace be on the day that I will die. And that thing, that when he spoke as a child, it's something that is supernatural. Is like, you can't believe that this can ever happen. Right? I mean, unless it's a miracle, right? Which is unimaginable, impossible by natural means.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the thing that I think that stopped him from stoning her. Because they're like, okay, this child is speaking. There's something special about this event.
Yeah.
But anyway, if I go back and you said you don't believe in science as much and is dubious about it, I agree with you, because science tells you how things work, and most of it is guesswork. So when someone comes to me and tells me like, I found this bone and it's like 169 million years old, I'm like, okay, how do you put a number to that? But anyway, look,
it's all very. Every thought and every religious thought is a way of explaining the creation, however the creation has come about.
Yeah.
There is perhaps a special something in the universe, and as far as I can see, this is where all religions should meet.
Yeah, they should. Yeah.
And
Shall I tell you something? Look, there's a few options, right? Can the universe create itself? It's not possible.
No.
How can something with no intelligence create itself? It's like saying like a mother gave birth to herself.
yeah.
It's not possible.
Oh.
So, if the universe can't create itself, then it has to be a cause that moved it into being,
Yeah.
right? And now, okay, we know that they say that everything is moving away from us. So they believe that one day it was together, but they go it was an explosion like a big bang. But look, I would say to you that okay, maybe there was some kind of force that pulled it apart, but it was a controlled explosion. It was something that was meant to be to bring everything into being. Now look at the sunlight now. It's giving us heat.
Yep.
It's giving us light. We as human beings, we know today like we need vitamin D. We will have proper major health problems if we don't get enough sun or the vitamin D, right? So we need sunlight not just for the light and the heat, but also for our health. Also for the 4 seasons that the crops they die in the winter and then they come back to life and produce brand new fruit.
Yeah.
And then the winds blow, they impregnate the flowers, they give you fruit and they give you vegetables. You have the bees that carry the pollen.
Yep.
You have all of this system going on, right? And then you got the inner universe within our own cells, the DNA which contains information, the cells
Yep.
that are so sophisticated. One cell is more sophisticated than the most sophisticated city in the world.
Yes.
So, and all of this is working in a system and an order. So perfectly that nothing would exist if these things did not happen. We have a night, we have a day. Nowadays we have. I mean, you must have seen there's a time here. I know I did. Some streets don't have lights.
Yes.
In the night when it's dark, it's dark. The only light you would have is the moonlight.
Yep.
So how do you explain all of this?
I have a remembrance of this town where you drove through the middle.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That lot over there was all Victorian buildings, similar. These things are Edwardian. The far side was all Victorian.
And no street lights?
And there were street lights, but they were bulbs in them, like a house bulb.
Oh, wow.
And I remember the various changes of lighting.
Yes.
They've gone from tungsten lights to sodium lights to
And now LED.
now LED lights. And it's all changed, and the lighting's all improved and all the rest of it. But all this was changed. This side's changed as well.
It must have changed a lot, yes?
The library used to be up there.
Were the trams here?
No, we didn't get trams in Sutton. They stopped at Chester Road. If you know Chester Road at the far
I'm not
end.
from here, from Birmingham.
Yeah.
I'm like like near the centre.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know over there there was like trams there.
My great-grandfather lived right in the centre.
Okay.
He was, my family in some ways would have been despised because my family were partially Gypsy, Romani. And Rom, in actual fact, they reckon that the base of the original Rom were Hindi.
So Hindi?
Yeah.
Really?
Really, yes. And they left India and became wanderers. They were wanderers anyway. Even in India, they were low caste.
Wow.
And so I'm probably as related to you as you are to me.
I'm telling you that because of all this like integration in the world and everyone's just moving about, there is some we can always trace ourselves back to some similarity. And then I think if you go all the way back, whether you believe we come from a single cell or a single human being, we started from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So as I was saying, Jeffrey, don't you think? I mean, if you put aside all the pain and suffering that you went through, and I pray that that there's some ease in your heart for that, and that there's some peace you find. If you put all of that suffering and things aside, do you not? And you have this kind of like grudge against God, But putting that aside, don't you believe that there's a creator to the universe and everything in it? Is there something inside that says, look, there has to be something, but because I went through this difficulty, I rejected it.
No, I've not rejected God at all, really. I've just found the religious beliefs to be unfounded. There's a difference.
Okay, that actually makes sense. That makes sense. So look at this now. What you just said, I think that's the foundation of everything.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if there's a creator, right, he would not make all of the different religions, right?
Yeah.
And everyone fighting each other, saying we're right.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that point?
I do.
Okay. So, what about if I told you that this creator made this human race, put them on the earth, and then he sent guidance through special men that he selected.
Yeah.
All right? to show people and guide people to the right way. Right? Because this life is not be all and end all. And the Quran tells us that this life is a test. You will go through pain, you will go through suffering, and the thing is that if you don't know pain and suffering, you'll never appreciate good.
Yeah.
You know? So if you don't have pain and suffering, then you will never ask those questions that need to be asked. Why am I here?
Yes.
You know? Why am I going through this? What is the purpose of all of this? And most importantly, what will happen after this? You know? Where will those people go that I loved so much? You know? Is that the end of it? So these questions you have to ask when you go through the pain and suffering, and the only one that can answer that is the one who sent us. Now, we're at that stage right now where if there's a creator, he's never made all these religions, he never made all this confusion. So look, if you really look logically down the line, and you look, let's take, for example, the 3 or 4 or 5 major religions in the world.
Yeah.
Right? Let's look at, like we talk about India, right?
Yep.
We got Hinduism.
Yep.
They make idols with their own hands,
Yes.
right? Out of rock or soil or clay, whatever it is, and then the bandage. Does that make sense?
Not to me.
No. Okay. So when you look at,
It's amusing to think of Ganesh as being a useful person.
I'm glad you picked that one, because you know what? Most of them, they love Ganesh because Ganesh is the god of money.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I tell you what, you don't need Ganesh for people to make money into a god. Many people do that anyway.
Oh, God, yes.
You know?
I know people like that.
Their money is their god.
My brother, who is a lovely man, there's no argument. Oh, I was going to say, he's been married twice.
Oh yeah.
My mother was very much a country girl. She was born in a little village over in Shropshire.
Okay.
And was brought up there, went to a village school and didn't have a lot of education, but she was very religious in her own way. But she was also she had a very strange sense of humour. And she said to me one day, look at him. He's been round the orchard twice and picked a crab apple both times.
That's so funny.
And that was true. His first wife committed adultery and he caught her at it.
Oh no.
With his best friend.
Oh no.
And he said...
Isn't that always the case though?
And he said...
So sad.
He said, I stood there and I looked at him and I said, I'm ashamed of you. And she said, I'm sorry, dear. He said, I'm not talking to you. He said, Clive, you and I have been friends since we were 5 years old at school for the first day of our meeting. And you do this to me. Piss off and take her with you.
That's really sad though, because you know he must have loved her a lot. You know?
He did originally. He didn't do very well with his women. He was engaged to a German girl, Anna. She was a fantastic cook.
Okay.
Oh, that's my wife. Now that won't mean anything to you, I don't think. That's a piece of American music. If you're looking for trouble, you're in the right place. It's what follows that piece of music. Hello, I'd better speak to her.
Oh, she's calling you?
Yeah. She's lovely.
That's good to hear.
When I first met her, we're down there, that peaked building is with the arch windows.
Oh yeah.
That used to be a school.
Why is that now? Why is that now?
It's now Methodists, I think they are, Christian offshoot.
Okay.
But in front of that building there used to be a big cast iron Victorian bus shelter of all things, a Victorian-looking bus shelter.
Okay.
And I arrived there having been for a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
No argument.
Yeah.
I do like the occasional drink. And I was with a couple of friends, all from the boxing fraternity, I might add.
Wow.
And she was there with who was at the time her boyfriend, a person known as Jock. I never did know his real name.
For American, right? American?
No, just a bloody Scotsman.
Oh.
And he stood there with his two friends. He's got his damn hand down the front of her dress, playing with her breasts.
Oh, man.
And she's in tears, obviously, from being treated like that in the street. And I said, hey, quit that, son. You're upsetting the girl. What's it got to do with you? I said, well, she's a friend of my brother's. They're in the same class at school. stop it. So he said, well, what are you going to do about it? So I laid him out.
Being a boxer.
Yeah. Whop, and down he went. And I looked at his friends and I said, my two mates here will do with a bit of a scrap. Do you want to play? And they pissed off and left him, poor kid.
No way.
Yeah, they just walked away and left him lying on the floor in October, whatever it was.
Oh, good on him, man. That's good.
October the 29th it must have been, because it was the end of the end of the Festival of the Dead.
I don't know what that was.
It's Halloween.
Oh, Halloween.
It's actually the Festival of the Dead.
Wow, that's another name for it.
And I said, you're coming to the Halloween dance with me on Saturday, and you're not seeing that again. And we've been together ever since.
Very good. Well done, man. We need more people like that.
That was 62 years ago.
Wow.
As I say, but we've been married 58.
I bet you remember that day up until today.
Oh, keep very quiet about it. I'm not allowed to mention it, really.
No. But when you do good to someone,
it was a lovely right
never
hand.
forget.
It's one of the nicest right hands I've ever had.
Well done, man. You know what? I'll tell you something. There should be more men like that protect the women.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, they also get mistreated today.
Yeah.
You know, which is very sad.
There's too much. In some ways, I don't see the point of going into the burqa business and everything else.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think some of the young women walk around dressed in such a way as to invite attention.
Yes.
I'm not saying they're inviting to be attacked, but they certainly overly attend much too much attention.
Yeah.
To the way they're dressed.
Of course, I mean, we're men, so we understand that situation. But the women, I don't think they quite comprehend the.
Never been right, have they? Let's be fair.
Well,
not supposed to say that as a Christian.
Yeah, I think these are people who get offended over a lot of things, you know. But Jeffrey, you know, that's a really nice story, and I really touched my heart, and I think I appreciate that you sharing that with me. And you know what's something? If you got morals like that, and you got attitude like that, and you actually stand up and you speak out, we need more people like that today. These days, people to turn a blind eye and they walk off.
Yeah, well,
it's sad.
I have what I said to you about the posters for the zakat.
Zakat, yes, that's right.
The zakat posters. I put a notice in Facebook and said, "This is silliness. This is an advert reminding religious Muslims that they are due to contribute to the charity.
Yeah.
It's not intended as an insult to the Christian population."
Yeah.
And it got wiped off.
By Facebook?
Yeah, I don't know if it's Facebook or somebody complained about it.
Oh my God.
And I've had people complaining to me about it. You should be ashamed of yourself and all this business.
They should be saying themselves.
Well, that's my attitude entirely, you know.